The alarm rang by 6:30 a.m. Daps dashed to the washroom to prepare himself to get set for work. While in the washroom, he briefly thought about his life and how he lacked a lady he could trust to spend his life with. While in his office that afternoon, he looked through the glass demarcation and saw a light-skinned, tall, slim and curvy lady walking through the door into his office. He jerked up from his seat, all smiles. "Hello, I am Daps. How may I help you?" He was stunned by the stature and elegance. "This is my spec," he said in his mind. He touched his blazers a couple of times to look his best while offering the lady a seat. "I wish to open an investment account with this bank. Am I with the right person?" The lady said, "Sure. Have a seat," replied Daps. "I am new to the country. I don't really know much about my environment. However, I researched about this bank and found some interesting offers. I hope it will be good as it sounds." "Oh yes, we are the best. You rest assured," Daps said. Daps quickly replied, "How are you coping with this new environment with your family?" The lady smiled. "Anyways, I am single. I am alone here. The reason why it gets boring sometimes, you know. But I'm getting used to it. Never mind anyways." Daps was elated in his mind hearing the lady feels bored sometimes as a newcomer to the country. "At least I have got a chance," he thought to himself. Daps quickly put her through on her investment account request and concluded the deal. As she rose to leave, Daps asked, "Do you have a contact card?" "Oh sure," she said, "here it is." "What do you prefer to be called? As I can see, you have 3 names." She smiled and said, "Sophie, my first name." "I could show you some places around town anytime you are free if you do not mind." Sophie smiled and said, "That will be appreciated." Daps felt a new energy in him. He felt a dopamine rush like one who found a treasure. Daps could not wait. That Thursday evening he rang Sophie. He asked if she would be free over the weekend. She gave Daps the green light. They had a date fixed. Sophie dressed elegantly and sexy, smelled real good that evening. Daps picked her up and headed out for the date. During their conversation on the date, Daps posted all through about his achievements at work, his background, how bright he was, his smart business acumen, and what a wonderful gentleman he was, just to impress Sophie. But Sophie said little about herself, her siblings in Asia, her late parents, and how she started investing in stocks at the age of 22. She claimed her first investment funds came from her share of inheritance from her late parents. None of them cared much to assess their statements as they had their minds made up on their goals. Daps' relationship with Sophie grew stronger as the day goes by. He noticed Sophie displayed some sort of affluence but had no physical business setup other than investment on stocks. She also claimed she traded on gold, but Daps cared less about verifying anything at the moment. Daps started reveling in the beauty and elegance of Sophie, living to measure up to and impress her standards. They met special weekend getaway trips often. It was all bliss. a dream come true for Dabs in his mind. Sophie bonded with him very well. All looked set for the stage to usher in the next level in their relationship. On one hangout with the guys, Dabs told his friends he was planning his wedding in a few months. They laughed at him so hard, as they believed he was unserious. To prove his point and how sincere he was, he flashed Sophia's picture to them as his fiancée. Mike, his friend, asked him a few questions about the lady in the picture, as if he knew her or something about her. Which country is she from? Where does her family live? What is her profession? Dabs shoved it off, as he had been attached emotionally already. 4 months had barely gone by. Dabs started thinking of going forever with Sophie. He convinced himself he would have a beautiful family and children if he married Sophie. Not long after this, he asked Sophie if she had ever thought of having a family. Sophie said yes. They got engaged 2 months later, but Sophie told Dabs to delay the marriage moves for a few months to enable her get her family acquainted with her decision. One evening, Dabs visited Sophie. He noticed she was making calls with different phones and spoke in Mandarin. He was curious and asked why she had so many phones. She told him she used them to talk with her family members who were not fluent in English, also that she had always had them. Indeed, she was talking with her cartel members to make sure fentanyl and methamphetamine were distributed in the city without hassles. One day, Sophie informed Dabs about one of his siblings who she claimed sold some properties in Asia but did not want to spend so much on tax remittance. He wanted to wire the money to her account so she could invest it in stocks. Dabs replied, "Anything for you, baby." They looked for loopholes to jump the banking verification processes for the source of the funds to be invested. This later became a routine for Dabs and Sophie. Sophie was constantly cooking up stories about the sources of funds she received. Not quite too long, the bank detected some unusual transactions in Sophie's account. They investigated and found out Dabs was complicit in verifying or doing due diligence. The bank fired Dabs but could not freeze Sophie's account. She got some good lawyers to fight the bank legally. She won the case because Dabs exposed the bank to the risk. Dabs became jobless and depressed, but Sophie promised to step in for him while he looked for another job. Dabs avoided his friends and family and clung to Sophie. One day, Sophie suggested to Dabs if he could try some pills to get his mind off worrying. Dabs was in a bad place emotionally and cared less about suspecting anything. He took the pills. He liked the feeling it gave him. He asked for more afterwards and became addicted to the pill, which is fentanyl. Sophie and her cartel had monitored Dabs before she came in contact with him. They knew the kind of ladies she rode with. His weakness for beautiful and elegant ladies. They used Sophie as a bait to get him to help them clean their drug money. They later gave Sophie orders. Now is the time to move on from him. He is no longer useful to our business. Their plan was to use Sophie to make him lose his mind through fentanyl addiction to cover their tracks. why they are associated with him. Sophie was under task, as she is an experienced member of the syndicate group. Dab started reacting to fentanyl. As his behavior changed, Sophie's attitude towards him changed too. She started detaching herself slowly from him. One day, Sophie left the house where she was living with Dabs and never returned. Dabs became a fentanyl addict. His family and friends came to his rescue. He struggled with rehab 3 times and relapsed. He died after 2 years from an overdose. This story, it's so touching. But it also goes to show that all that glitters is not gold. Be careful about the choices you make for your life. Thank you for watching my channel. I appreciate you all. Please try and subscribe to my channel. Like and comment. Engage me so that I will bring more interesting stories to you. I appreciate you all. Expect another one very soon from me. Bye for now.